Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm Andy RC and today I'm taking a look at the JXD 510G quadcopter from lighttape.com. This is a cheap all-in-one FPV quadcopter offering 720p recording. One thing I really like about it is that they have packaged it perfectly in this small box while managing to keep the landing legs and props fitted. It's ready to go straight out of the box and therefore you can use the box to store it. The quadcopter is kind of unique looking, if you pardon the pun. It feels really lightweight and the camera is already attached along with its cables. The FPV antenna sticks out the back, meaning that I can angle the antenna down and there's enough room for it to not hit the floor. This is important for getting a good FPV signal. I can see a bit of a design flaw with it straight away, which is a shame. I can see a lot of play in this camera module. This is for sure going to vibrate and cause jello on the video footage. They have done this so that the camera head can pitch up and down, which also looks good, but I have a feeling that we won't get good results out of it. I will see if there's something I can do to rectify that later. It uses a 600mAh 1-cell battery that has a JXD connector, which means it will be easy to use with a hobby-grade charger. You get everything you need to fly this aircraft and do FPV with it, apart from the AA batteries required to power the transmitter. We have the FPV screen with a built-in LiPo battery and sun shield. It also has a separate antenna which screws on via an SMA adapter. This is very unusual for a toy-grade quad, so it's nice to see. You can't change the frequency of the FPV signal, so you are locked into the one channel. The transmitter comes in mode 2 only, which is a shame, as this aircraft features spring-loaded control sticks to cater for its altitude hold feature. So I will be flying this aircraft in mode 2 only. The transmitter controls are really well labelled, with the top shoulder button giving 3 different rates. The right hand shoulder button does a 360-degree flip. Starting down this left hand side, and we have this top button which is 1 key return. In the middle we can turn the LEDs on and off. The bottom button arms the motors rather than using the conventional way of moving the sticks into the corners. Then on the right hand side at the top we have headless mode, underneath takes a photo, and the bottom button starts and stops video recording. Included in the package is a 4GB micro SD card as well as card reader. 2 chargers, one is for the quadcopter's battery and the other is for the FPV monitor. A screwdriver to add the included prop protectors and 4 spare blades is also included. It's a big package for a small price of $84, so let's go and see if it is worth it. For the first flight, when flying the JXD towards myself, I could physically see the camera module vibrating. It's not so bad viewed on the FPV monitor, but I can't recommend this quadcopter in its current form. So I took it back home and added some thick foam strips underneath. I placed the camera further back so that there is no flex on the camera lens. I then used rubber bands to hold it all in place. You see, the reason why I want to persist with this aircraft is you get a lot for your money, and honestly, its only downfall I can see is the camera. Flying with my modifications, I got much better results, and this aircraft surprised me somewhat. The FPV range is really good, over 100 meters, which is rare at this price point and size. I was concerned that the included FPV monitor would blue screen, but actually I couldn't get it far away enough to test that. The field of view is quite narrow, but in this wide open space I was able to FPV no problem. Another thing that I noticed is that this quadcopter is the quietest one for its size that I have seen or heard. With the wind blowing and the aircraft just a few feet away, I can hardly hear it. It does not handle flips too well and loses a lot of height, but as mentioned in other videos, I rarely want to flip a camera quad. It does fly really smooth. I find that the lowest rate is too docile for outside. It seems to be a trend with these altitude hold quadcopters that the rates are really dialed down. The third rate though is not too bad. I would say any more than a 10-mile-an-hour wind would overpower it. I also found that in the wind the rate of descent was pretty low. Ascent is okay, but I think for descending, the wind gets underneath it, and it takes some time to come back down. In general though, the altitude hold is pretty good. The flight time is around 4 to 5 minutes, which is slightly lower than something like the Syma X5C, but it takes more power to transmit that video signal, while also recording in 720p at the same time, so that is to be expected. I can't notice any delay or jerkiness on the video feed while recording videos or taking photos. I did notice that in a crash the quadcopter automatically stopped its motors. I think it must have crash protection because the battery was still connected. Unfortunately, when it happened, it did not save down the video file correctly and I lost the video footage. When making a normal landing, the aircraft's props will stop when you completely throttle down. I do believe that you can stop the props in the air by pulling the sticks to the bottom corners in the same way you would arm a normal quad. This is an important safety feature for if you need to drop out of the sky for any reason. So in conclusion, I think I do recommend this quadcopter with a couple of caveats. In order to get decent video footage out of the camera, you are going to need to dampen it somehow, like I have here. And hopefully the makers of this quadcopter will come out with an amended camera design because it's a really good package otherwise. So there you go, that is my review of the JXD 510G quadcopter. I will put a link in the description if you wish to buy it. Many thanks to lighttape.com for allowing an honest review of this product. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.